this Mr. Nightmare video? Because he said he got videos. We got video footage.
Mark was a college student
Mr.
living in
Nightmare be
Indiana.
talking. He don't got footage
His
all the
house was
time. So he
quiet
got
and
footage.
sat
It's
next
gonna
to
be good.
some woods. During the
Ooh.
day, everything felt normal.
Hold on.
But at night,
Let me get all the settings right. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Let me get it. All
the woods made the place feel strange.
right.
Behind his house, under the patio, there was a hot tub.
Uh-oh.
That's where everything happened. It was Saturday night, March 29th,
What
around
happened?
12:30 a.m. Spring break was ending and school was starting again soon. Mark had his 3 close friends over, Kyle, Keenan, and Derek. They were spending one last night hanging out. They were in the garage
Tight
playing
shit. The bros
pool,
trying to
blasting
chill. Tight
music,
shit.
and
Tight
drinking.
shit.
Everyone was laughing and having fun. It felt like a good night. After a while, Kyle said they should go in the hot
I'm not gonna lie, a little man cave like this is kind of fire. Little TV, got the little setup, got the little couch, little pool and shit. This a low key kind of fire. Got a little bar back there and shit. This type. I don't like the windows right there though. I ain't fucking with the windows.
It was cold
Too much
outside,
freaky shit can
so
go
the
on
warm
with it.
water
Not no
sounded
windows
even
though.
better. Everyone agreed. They got changed into swim trunks, grabbed their drinks, and went into the hot tub. The warm water felt good as they talked, made jokes, and didn't pay attention to the time. Then they heard something. It was the sound of sticks breaking, like footsteps coming from the woods. It didn't sound like an animal. It sounded like a person. They all went quiet and looked around. Keenan tried to calm everyone down and said it was probably nothing. The others laughed, but it was more to stop feeling nervous. They turned the music up louder and tried to keep talking. About 10 minutes later,
Hold on. So you telling me y'all niggas heard that shit and y'all want to cut the music up louder and continue on about your night like that didn't just happen?
a man walked out of the woods. He stepped into the light from the patio. He was wearing a long black coat, white sweatpants, and a gaming headset. His eyes were wide.
A gaming headset? What the fuck is this nigga on, boy?
And his face didn't
Who got
show
a
any
gaming
feeling.
headset on?
Everyone jumped. They yelled at him and asked who he was and what he was doing. The man raised his hands and said his name was Seth. He said he was 33 years old and he heard them laughing and wanted to join. The guys just looked at each other, confused.
Huh, nigga? You said you heard us and you wanted to come. You heard us laughing, so you thought it was okay to just creep up on us with your little gaming headset on your little $2 vent pack that you just hit. Boy, hell no, nigga, no. No,
Mark
you can't
told
get
him
in
to
with us,
leave,
boy.
But
No.
he didn't listen. Instead, Seth took off his coat, then his shoes, and then his pants.
Oh hell no, this nigga's a freak. Oh, this freak ass. Oh my god, yo, this is the nigga. This is him. This is the freak ass nigga that wanna walk up on us and try to get in the. Yo.
He was now in only his underwear. Then he got into the hot tub.
We don't want you here, dog.
No one knew what to say. Mark pulled out his phone and started recording. Not for fun, but because the whole thing felt unreal.
This nigga's caught in 4K,
This
boy.
was
There's
the
no
footage
way.
he
He had to be on some drugs. Yo. Nigga said, who the fuck is this guy? Bro walked up in the middle of the night and got in the tub. And this nigga right here shouldn't even be there. Excuse me? The color of your skin and your hair just looking. Yeah. We don't need to be here, bro.
They started asking Seth questions.
What is he on, bro?
Like
What
where
is
he
he on,
came
bro?
from and if he knew anyone there. He just kept saying he heard them laughing and wanted to hang out. Then he said something really disturbing. He said he had molested a child.
Excuse me, nigga? Immediately, I am calling the police. You just told me what, nigga? And you want to hop in the pool with me? Fuck.
That changed everything, obviously.
I told you this nigga's
The
a
guys
problem.
jumped out of the hot tub and started yelling at him to leave. They pulled him out of the water. Seth didn't try to stop them. He just stood there, dripping wet and staring. Then he slowly walked back into the woods without saying anything. The group ran inside and locked all the doors.
Yo, lock this
Some of them
nigga
laughed
up.
nervously, trying to shake it off, but Mark and Kyle didn't feel okay. They felt like it wasn't over. About 15 minutes passed.
Yo,
Kyle said they should go
we
back
need
out
to
to
lock
the
this
hot
nigga
tub.
up.
Mark said okay. So they got flashlights and stepped outside. That's when Mark saw something next to the hot tub. It was a phone. He picked it up and saw the screen light up. Whatever was on the lock screen made him drop the phone.
Nigga leaving
He
trackers.
didn't say what it was, but it scared him.
Oh no.
He said he thought Seth would come back, so they ran inside and told the others.
What was on that phone?
Everyone tried to stay calm.
Oh hell no.
They heard a tapping sound on the window. Mark already knew
look,
who
this
it
nigga
was.
be doing all these fucking sounds and shit. Don't make me be fucking looking around and shit,
He
boy.
opened the curtain.
Doing that shit.
And wouldn't you know it, Seth was standing
Yo,
right there.
Elijah, appreciate that follow.
His face was pale, his eyes were wide open, and he had a creepy smile. He didn't say anything, he didn't move, he just stared.
Freak ass nigga.
Mark yelled for Kyle. Kyle ran in and called the police. Mark grabbed a bat and went to the front door. He yelled for Seth to leave and take his phone. Seth didn't answer. Instead, he slowly walked around the side of the house. Mark followed a little bit and looked through the patio window. Seth was standing there again, staring inside. Mark told him the cops were coming and that he needed to leave.
Yo.
Seth didn't move. He just slowly raised his hand and waved once.
This nigga got a death wish. Yo, he's got a problem. He's actually lost it mentally. He's not there.
He turned and walked back into the woods.
He's not there.
The police arrived a few minutes later. The guys told them everything. The officers searched the woods and found Seth standing alone, just looking toward the house. They arrested
Accepting
him
his
for
fate, I
trespassing,
guess, nigga.
and everyone thought it was over. But Mark didn't feel that way. A few days later, he saw a post on Snapchat from a girl who lived nearby. It was a video. It showed another man, not Seth, trying to break into her house late at night. That's what bothered Mark the most.
This is a... Hold on. This nigga's not doing this shit by himself. Who the hell does he have working with him?
It meant Seth might not be the only one out there. There could be more. They could be connected, and they might not be done. A few years ago.
So we not gonna put a stop to these niggas? Is the police isn't doing anything? We ain't in an investigation. Why the hell are these niggas on the loose? These are menaces on the streets.
3 high school
Get
friends,
these niggas.
Beck, Matthew, and Tyler, decided to explore a sewer tunnel in
The
the
hell kind of
neighborhood.
useless ass
It was
police?
winter
That's
and
what I'm
very
saying.
cold outside. The tunnel was at the edge of their neighborhood, under a small creek next to some office
And that
buildings.
ain't nothing new,
These
sadly.
buildings were empty and dark at night. The boys had seen the tunnel before, but never went inside of it. It always looked creepy, and they joked about it, but deep down they were curious. That night, they finally decided to go in. They brought sleds with them, thinking it would help if someone
Niggas
asked
is
what they were
tripping.
doing.
They see this shit at night or whatever time of day it is, and they thinking, yeah, let me just go ahead and slide up in here.
Knew they weren't allowed
What
to
are
be
you
there, but
talking
they
about?
wanted to do something exciting. Just as they pulled into the parking lot, a police car showed up.
Pardon the interruption. Where is he? That's what I thought. Hey, chill out, bro. Actually, chill out, bro. Actually, chill out. I'm gonna shut that door. You ain't gonna be able to get a chance. You ain't gonna be able to get a chance.
A police officer got out and asked what they were doing there. Someone had apparently seen them on the security camera. Tyler quickly said that
This is
they were
Lakers
just going
game.
sledding. The officer looked at them for a
Shit.
moment, then told them to leave. So they left, but only for a little while. After driving around for about 30 minutes, they came back. This time, they parked farther away, behind a building where no one could see them. They walked down a hill behind the buildings. They could see their breath in the cold, crisp air. They stood in front of the tunnel, noting how big, round, and completely dark inside it was. They turned on their flashlights
Pause.
and walked in.
Turn off your light, everybody. Okay. Dude, this is
Y'all don't know what y'all can find down there. Who or what.
19. Oh my god, this is dead.
Dude, how did we even find this?
Damn, 2019. That's way back, boy.
Oh my gosh.
Inside the tunnel, the ground was dry. It was quiet.
Oh my God,
except
bro,
for
the
the sound
quality
of
is
water
ass.
dripping deeper in. The walls had graffiti.
What's up with
all
niggas
over
recording
them.
in fucking
Most
Blueberry?
of it looked old, but one thing
fucking-
caught their eye: A date was spray painted in large red numbers, 6/19/19. The paint looked newer than the rest, like it was done recently. That made them feel uneasy. Their flashlights weren't very
Something to take them,
strong,
I'm
didn't
laughing.
shine very far.
Yo,
Still, they kept walking and acting tough, but deep down they were nervous.
something gonna be in
The
there
farther
waiting.
they went, the colder it got. The temperature was dropping fast. Even though they were underground, they could still see their breath. The walls looked like they had ice on them. Big icicles hung down from the ceiling. Some were huge
Them
and
big ass
sharp.
clunky ass boots, boy. This ain't no fishing trip, nigga. You is not making it nowhere with them boots on.
I see a light down there, see it?
I think I saw movement. Wait. What's that?
What is what?
Hello?
Rule number 1. Don't do this shit right here. You're in a place where you probably shouldn't be. You don't know what else is down there. And the main thing, you're saying hello. You just gave away your pinpoint exact location and let them know how many there are. It's actually retarded. You know, it's special. It's special thinking. It's special thinking.
Should we keep going?
Can we keep going?
Special thinking. And they laughing and giggling until y'all get snatched.
Dude, and these icicles can like impale you, dude. Look how low.
Niggas is pussy. I'm not gonna lie though. I hear
Suddenly,
that
a
bang.
loud
I'm
cracking
definitely
sound
not gonna
echoing
stay
from
down there.
Further down the tunnel sends the group
is
fleeing
out of there.
in fear. The sound resembled something heavy hitting stone.
Yeah,
It
I'm
wasn't
good.
any of them. The sound came from deeper inside the tunnel, too far to see.
Uh-huh,
They
yeah.
tripped, slid, and bumped into each other.
You don't
as
know
they
what's
rushed
down
to
there
get
waiting
out.
on the other side.
When they got outside,
Real shit.
they were shaking and breathing hard. That's when Beck noticed his phone was missing. He had dropped it while they were running. Tyler and Matthew told him to forget about it. They didn't want to go back in, but Beck didn't listen. He grabbed his flashlight and started walking toward the tunnel again.
Of
The
course he
others
didn't.
followed, but they didn't want to.
Why did y'all follow?
The tunnel felt different this time. It felt even darker. The air felt heavy and strange, like something was wrong.
Why the hell
The
would y'all
flashlights
follow?
didn't work as well, and the silence was even worse than before. It felt like something was watching them.
I feel like my pocket got like a little emptier over here. Like somewhere over here. Matthew, go over here this way.
No, just
I wanted to go back in here, boy. Y'all are
You
tweaking.
have to go back there.
you're going first, bro.
Yeah, we're not leading the way. Yeah, somebody else lead the way, please.
Telling you, bro. Listen, if you niggas is too scared to even know, y'all are too scared to pick a leader on who needs to go deeper into this shit, I think maybe y'all shouldn't be going in this shit no more. Niggas clearly don't want to go in there. So why are y'all still walking in there? I'm saying,
At
nigga,
some
like,
point off camera, Beck found his phone.
Fuck that little
Afterwards, the group
phone, bruh.
continued deeper into the tunnel investigating. And that's when they heard a sound.
and then, see, here's the most important information. What did he just say?
And that's when they heard a sound.
They decided to keep exploring, and that's when they heard a sound. Why the hell are you still going? Now listen,
A
that could
loud
be one of their
scream came from
homeboys.
deeper in the
So I
tunnel.
don't believe this shit.
It echoed off the walls and felt like it was getting closer. They didn't wait. They turned and ran
Sounds
as
like
fast
a
as they
jet.
could. This time, no one talked, no one looked back. They just ran. They got to the car, jumped in, and drove away without stopping. The car ride back was mostly silent. The three friends thought it was over when they all got home. They were ready to move on with their lives.
Oh, hold on, this don't
Late
end.
that night, Beck's doorbell rang twice.
Oh, I thought the story ended.
This was at some
GG
off
game.
hour in the night. When Beck's dad went to answer the door, nobody was there. This, of course, begs the question, were the boys followed home that night? Or was it simply a very unfortunately timed ding-dong ditch? That remains a mystery. The night left more questions than answers for the three friends, but they all heard the noises and of course got it on video. Perhaps it was something they weren't meant to stumble upon.
Yeah, you think, buddy? I
In
don't think it
April of
was meant to be for y'all to
2022,
be there in the
a
first
man named
place
Connor
at
took a
all.
construction job
So
far
yeah,
from home as
that
part
was
of a 3-month accommodation program.
Yeah.
The pay was decent, and he needed every dollar.
Hold
He
on.
wasn't in the best place
What type of
financially, and the bonus of working
what type of contraption is this? Yo, they got tree jerkers. Hey,
alongside his longtime friend Jim
yo, that
made
thing
the
is
opportunity
jerking
more
them branches
appealing.
straight off that bit.
They
Hey,
figured it would be a
yo,
nice change of
when they get them
pace,
things.
extra cash, time away from home, and some peace from the chaos of everyday life. The job itself wasn't bad. A few weeks in, Ryan had adjusted well to the routine, but the area they were stationed in was remote, deep in rural countryside. There were long, winding roads with barely any signs of life. It wasn't unusual to go miles without seeing a single home. Ryan had always loved the outdoors, and he saw this isolation as a chance to unplug. Most of his coworkers blew their weekends drinking, but Ryan had different plans. He wanted solitude. He wanted quiet. So when Friday rolled around,
Good
he packed his
old
gear,
peace and
prepared for a
scenery
weekend
type
of
shit.
hiking and camping deep within the woods. A narrow trailhead just 5 minutes from his temporary accommodation became his entry point. Within 20 minutes, he was deep in the forest. The only sound was the wind
sound of
and the
that
crunch
life.
his boots. He smoked a couple joints as he made his way further in, letting the stress just melt away.
Oh, this nigga's really doing it all in. He's going utmost to the most relaxation of all time. Not only are you getting the mind fried, you're getting your body fried.
The
Spiritually
isolation was
connected with the
comforting for
nature.
him. Well, at first. Around 7 p.m., the sun began to sink behind the treetops. Shadows stretched long across the trail. Ryan knew it was time to find a place to settle. That's when he noticed something unusual. There was a scent in the air, burning firewood, and a light layer of smoke drifted between the trees. At first, it seemed normal, maybe another camper, maybe a local.
Possibly.
But then, he caught something just barely in the corner of his vision. The faint orange glow of fire flickering through the trees. Curious and confident, Ryan left the trail and headed towards the source. He wasn't scared. He trained in combat sports during his teens and stayed in good shape. Still,
Nigga, I don't care
something
about no damn combat sports, boy. Your ass is not ready for whatever the fuck is out there waiting on you.
about this felt off to him.
Word.
As he moved closer, he began to see strange metallic glints. Shopping carts, dozens of them. They were tied to trees with rope hanging for the branches. Some mangled and suspended in bizarre positions, like a twisted jungle gym of rusted steel.
The hell?
It didn't look like a campsite. It looked like a ritual site, like something meant to be seen and feared.
What is
Ryan
to
pulled
be
out his
feared
phone and
about a
started
fucking
snapping photos.
Walmart
He had to
shopping
prove this to his
carts?
friends someday because no one would believe it otherwise. Then, something even stranger caught his eye. Hung directly above the fire was a charred, old-fashioned duck ornament. Sitting in the duck's back was a scorched baby doll. The thing was melted, its limbs warped from heat.
The fuck?
Ryan took a photo of that too, but the longer he stared, the more disturbed he felt. His chest began to tighten. The fire was roaring, clearly tended to recently. There were water bottles scattered around. Someone had been there, or currently was there, maybe still watching. He thought about turning around.
And they did all this
thought
shit?
about heading straight back to the trailhead, but something made him keep
What kind
walking.
of shit is
He tried to
this?
convince himself it was nothing, just some weird loner, maybe drunk, probably harmless. Still, he checked over his shoulder more than once. 20 minutes passed, and he'd put real distance between himself and that eerie camp. But daylight was fading fast, and he needed firewood before it got too
Never
dark.
could be me in this
He
situation,
veered
though.
off the trail again, this time to gather supplies. He wasn't worried. He had emergency wood in his pack, but not enough to last the entire night. He needed more. After about an hour of preparation,
Emergency
Ryan had set up
wood.
his tent and built a
Pause.
small fire. It was around 9 p.m. when he prepped a steak and potato meal in foil.
Small
nestled it
fire?
in the glowing embers.
Nigga, that shit ain't small.
He smoked another joint to dull the anxiety.
You are letting
And for a while,
everyone know where you
everything
at.
seemed okay again. With his meal finished and the fire crackling, Ryan settled in for the night. He turned on a pre-downloaded
big-ass
playlist
fire.
of true crime podcasts, listening to cold case files as the forest around him darkened. There was no signal out there, no distractions, just firelight and static-filled voices recounting unsolved murders. At some point, he drifted off to sleep, but it didn't last. He woke up suddenly. The air inside his tent felt colder. The fire outside had dimmed. He checked his phone. 4 a.m. He didn't know what had woken him up until he heard it. whistling.
Not 4 a.m., cuz.
A
Oh,
slow,
hell
eerie
nah.
tune carried through the trees surrounding his camp. He froze. His body wouldn't move. It was like something inside him had shut down.
What's worse
He
than a
lay
monster? A person. Who knows what the fuck they could do to you?
motionless, listening as the sound
Like a
crept
whistling and
closer.
shit. Like he's the
Then
fucking.
the whistling stopped.
That's some
What followed
serial
was
killer
worse.
tactics.
Soft footsteps, fast, light, and quiet, circling his tent. He couldn't see them, but he could hear them crunching twigs and shifting leaves. His heart pounded in his throat. Then, without thinking, his body finally snapped into motion. He jumped up, threw on his boots, and burst out of the tent. What made it worse, what twisted the fear into something primal, was that the footsteps had come from the direction he had entered the trail. The way back to safety was now blocked.
Oh
He had no choice
no.
but to run deeper into the forest. He sprinted as fast as he could, crashing through brush and low branches. But behind him, he could hear more footsteps, multiple, and they
Oh
weren't in sync.
no.
The sounds overlapped, too fast and scattered to just be one person. There were two of them, maybe more.
Oh
For
hell
5 straight
no.
minutes, he
Fuck
ran
no.
until his lungs burned and his legs begged for rest. He found a dense cluster of trees and dove into the underbrush, burying himself in leaves and tangled roots.
Hold on, though.
He
Like, this
didn't
nigga got some smart little tactic survival skills, though. Throwing yourself into some bushes and covering yourself in branches and twigs and all that bullshit, you know, the canopy and all that. Hey, that's some
barely
smart shit, bro.
breathed. The footsteps faded, distant now, but he didn't dare come out. He waited, still and silent in the dark. Eventually, he knew he had to move. He crawled through the forest with branches cutting into his arms and legs. Every step was slow and careful. When the trees finally began to thin, he broke into one final sprint. He recognized the trailhead, the way out, and he ran without stopping. No one followed him after that. The forest was quiet, but the damage was done. He got back to his accommodation and immediately reported the incident to the police. They took his statement and promised to investigate, but he
Yeah,
never
I
heard
doubt they
anything back.
heard anything
To
or
this
said
day,
anything
Ryan
or
believes the
even
people who
tried to
chased
fucking
them
look it
were
up.
the same ones who built
No,
that
how the
bizarre
police
shrine
be.
of carts and dolls. What they were doing out there and what they wanted, he doesn't know. But it was more than just a creepy encounter. To him, it felt ritualistic, cult-like. He finished his contract and returned home, but the memory never left him. He still remembers the sound of the footsteps, the whistling, and the feeling of helplessness. If there's anything to learn from this story, it would be to trust your instincts. If you find something that doesn't feel right, you should leave. Ryan almost didn't, and he knows he might not have lived to tell the story if he had stayed. This video was me experimenting
That's some
with a
motherfucking
slightly
facts,
different
boy.
style. If
Thank
any
God
of
he
you
made it
have
out of there.
personal scary experiences that include photos or videos and you'd like to submit them, email them to me and I'll try to make this style of video a new series. Also, if you haven't already, click the bell icon
Hell
and turn
yeah.
on all
I'm
notifications
not gonna lie.
because apparently only 15% of you have done so.
Oh, come on, y'all better be subscribing to my nigga right here, boy. You already know I'm in there. It's Mr. Nightmare, boy. Been rocking with this nigga for years, boy. I don't know how long exactly, but it's been years. I'll tell you that. It's been years. W video.